welcome to Dragonborn Industries, episode 27 of Painting Up the Monster Manual. We're on the Cockatrice, which I've had out there as Cockatrice all week, and nobody has said a thing, and I thought they would. But no, it's the Cockatrice. It's a fun little creature, and I'm here with Richard from Warrior Prince 3D. Richard, how are you?
I'm a little bit chilly today, but not too bad. Yourself, you look cold as pie.
It's fucking freezing. It is. It's fucking freezing. I am getting hit pretty hard by the cold today, and this room is pretty cold as it is. I've got a little radiator and I've got a cup of tea on the go. And hello to everybody in chat, be it on Twitch, YouTube, Kick, YouTube in the future, or Twitch back in the VODs, wherever you are. Hope you're all doing well. We've got Herbalist, we've got the Mist Lounge, we've got Fluffy, we've got Dibs.
We need no one else.
Wow. The best are here so far. And I'm sure more people will join in as they go. I hope everyone's doing really well. We're back to it this week. Last week we did a little monster creation session where we just painted up some minis from Richard that we've done and had in the past from him, and it was really fun. But yeah, we're back to it this week with the Cockatrice, which is... This is a fun little mini. I really like this. Where is this from, Richard?
So this one is from Loot Studios.
Is it? Because I hadn't seen a Cockatrice anywhere else.
There's a couple, but they're more. There was one or two that were basically just giant mutant chickens. Not quite right. But no, this was the best one I found, and it's one of their earlier bundles actually.
Fair enough. Fluffy says, Richard, your mic is a bit quiet. Let's see if I can actually change that on here at all. Video capture.
Let me check settings because I have updated computer bits and pieces. Awesome video.
Have a look at that.
That's at 90%. Is that too much?
You probably go a little bit more actually today. And hey, Jim Worth Painting, how you doing? Welcome to chat. Let's have a quick look across here. Perfect. Do you want to talk for me, Richard?
How's that?
Oh, it's so good. And while we're here, why don't you tell us who you are and where people can find you?
Okay, hi. Richard from Warrior Prince 3D. I am your one-stop shop for all your 3D printing needs. Be it wee little tabletop collectibles, large pieces, dice boxes that are shaped like skulls.
It's so fucking cool that. Not only is it a skull, it's an orc skull.
It's an orc skull. And it's in pieces. It's got a little ring on his tooth.
How are you not making that talk? Like, hey babe, how you doing?
I have a play with him with some magnets later on. I can be found on Instagram, Etsy, the store is now back open. Facebook, with abandoned badges over here at Dragonborn Industries, anywhere you pretty much like. We are a 3D printing shop, and literally anything you want printed, anything you think you need, I can fit on the printers, I will print it. Buy yourself a file if you've seen something, Hero Forge model, anything like that. Give me a shout, any questions, I'm always on Instagram, so drop me a message.
And that's that. I realise as well, right now, that I haven't actually signed into Stream Elements, so I've just done that. So hopefully, your links will actually come up in chat, because there are a few other things and a few other links that I want to chat about before we jump into everything. The first one being, I promoted it on Monday's Starfinder stream that the Universal Carrier Vessel, the Warbug, which is the second ship from Games Art by Philip, is now at Kickstarter, and they were really kind and they've sent me out the files to have a play around with. My FDM printer's gone down, so I'm not having a play around with, so the least I can do is shout them out here, there and everywhere. So please go check out Games Art by Philip on Kickstarter and the UVC Warbug, because they are interchangeable with the brick and all of their ships on Patreon. The second one is, I have been made an affiliate with Roll and Play Press, and yeah, so again, this is something I did a shout out for on Monday's show, but actually it's something that I need to shout out again because it's really awesome. So Roll and Play Press are a UK company, and they make these little books as well as one-shot wonders, which are little toolkits that you can use, and they've got tables and you can roll on them to find out what you want or what you don't want within your campaigns. And you can get 10% off using our affiliate code, which is Dragonborn10 through the Roll and Play Press website, which is really cool that we've now got that. And Yeah, every little helps. If you guys can save some money out there, then even better. Otherwise, we're going to jump into today's episode of Painting Up the Monster Manual, and let's, I guess, talk about the Cockatrice first. Not the Cockatrice, but the Cockatrice. Because, once more, I had that going out everywhere with the wrong name on it because it was funny. But these are quite low CR creatures. Have you happened across them before in your campaigns, Richard?
I've never dabbled with these, never fought one or never put one in.
They're great fodder, really, because they are quite a low CR. They're only a CR 1/2. They've got a really low amount of hit points, a really low armor class, so they make great dungeon fodder. However, like the Brain Collectors, which are also like a CR 1/4 or 1/2, these things have a tiny little thing that makes them, I think, way more than a CR 1/2, which is they can petrify you.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm going to talk about that first, which is so when they make a bite melee weapon, which is only a +3 to hit and a reach of 5 foot, the you must succeed on a DC 11 Constitution saving throw against being magically petrified. On a failed save, the creature begins to turn to stone and is restrained. It must repeat the save at the end of its next turn. On a success, the effect ends. On a failure, the creature is petrified, but only for 24 hours. However, 24 hours, if you're on your own as a player, you're going to get killed. It's not the nicest of creatures if you throw them at players not knowing about that ability, because chances are, if it's down to dice rolls and luck, something bad is going to happen. So these are ones that you have to think about when you're placing them. If you put 20 of them in there, that's 20 Constitution saving throws people have to make. They are going to fail those. But I think one-on-one, provided you don't have really bad luck, I think that you're going to kill this quite quickly, because it's got an armor class of 11, it's got hit points of 27 rules as written, but it's got 66 plus 6 if you do it wrong. So that's a potential of 42 hit points if you want to beef it up realistically. It does have a 20-foot land speed, but it has a 40-foot flight speed. So it's quite quick. Its stat block is actually quite low. Its strength is -2, its dex is +1, its con is +1, its intelligence is -4, its wisdom's +1, and its charisma is -3. So when we look at this as a monster, because it is a monstrosity, it is essentially an undead chicken velociraptor looking thing. It's, you know, a medium-sized creature, a small creature even, and it is, you know, it's got that mind of a monstrosity. It's not going to be a decent NPC or a pet or anything like that. Its only real attack is that of its bite, which is what we went through earlier, which is a D4 plus 1 worth of damage, but it's got that petrification on top of there. So that's its real danger, is that actually when we look at the big three, the armor class, the hit points and the damage dealing, none of those are high for a CR 1/2. I think they're all quite low, but that ability to petrify somebody, that is where this monster is a problem.
Gets you by the short and curlies.
Yeah, it is really going to do a lot of damage there if it gets you. So I guess the only thing to do is ask Richard, have you got a level 3 character ready to go?
I have got a level 3 character ready to go. Now, I don't know if it's me clicking the wrong things or things changing slightly. I'm just sorting out the HP and whatnot.
That's absolutely fine.
Always max them out. So, full random, I've even gone for a random, I forgot to put the name in, so it's a random name. So, this is Zerstelzag, the Githyanki Warlock.
Zerstelzag's a good Githyanki name, I like that. Although all I can see is like the dude with the concept, Sultan. Sultan! Perfect. So, Dib says, I think I painted an old metal one a little while back for a mate. Not as cool as yours, though. They look cool. Cockatrice, yeah. So that's Dib's happy. And he also says, don't use Etsy, everyone. Contact Richard directly directly and pay through PayPal. Etsy are rip-offs for sellers. Can you confirm or deny that?
I neither confirm nor deny, but however, contact me through Instagram, and basically I use instead of PayPal, I also use something called SumUp, which is something I can send out invoices on. If there are things you see on Etsy that you would like to make a saving on, contact me directly and you can save money.
Yeah, and if you do end up going through the Etsy store, use the code to the stars, which is the Dragonborn Industries code for 10% off. But again, I think I would agree that going to your Instagram to save you those Etsy fees or anything like that, because Etsy's got to like, is it past 6% now?
10.
Huh. Wow. Yeah, that's shocking. But I guess we need
That's
to...
everything they say. The way it's broken down, I think it's more.
Fucking hell. That's shocking. But I think from there, we should look at potentially setting a scene. So, with a lot of the monsters that we've seen so far, they usually have a description in the monster manual about where these things are normally found and whereabouts they would be. The Cockatrice doesn't. It just literally has a small little blurb about them being really nasty creatures that, if intimidated, will just go on an all-out attack. So, you're a Githyanki, yeah?
Yep.
So Githyanki are native to the Astral Sea. So let's say you've been out, do you find yourself a good Githyanki, or are you like part of like a Marauders crew? Are you, what's the background behind the Big Z?
The Big Z? Big Z is a bounty hunter.
Okay.
Be it, items, be it people, be it information, often works as part of some of the marauding groups, but tends to be more of an individual.
Okay. I think I've got something. So, Big Z, because there's no way I'm going to be able to say that name over and over again. I've already forgotten it.
Likewise.
You maybe frequent the astral. Let's make an astral bounty hunters bar for you. It's called the Black Holes Enforcers, something like that. And it's a bounty hunting bar where you would go into and you would take your contracts and then you'd be able to select and choose from there. It's also where people would put notices up or acquire help from mercenaries, bounty hunters, or adventurers. It could be a mix of any of them. Usually the Githyanki, though, are clanned people who like to work together, but not you. You go in one day and there's a little old Githyanki lady with a really small Githyanki girl, and everybody else is sort of avoiding them because it's a bit of a rough and tumble place, and they look just out of place. And you approach them and they're like, we're having a little trouble on our tiny little asteroid. Our cats keep going missing and then turning up half-eaten or dead. And they will go on to explain that their astral cats and hamsters have been killed all over their asteroid, which is their home. And yeah. They've got some that they farm, these giant space hamsters, and then the cats are these semi-intelligent, like sheepdogs, but they herd. And over this asteroid, which is probably about a mile around, things have been happening. Rustlers or somebody has been attacking and half-eating them. You take the contract and you tell them you'll be back soon with either having dealt with the problem or found out at least what it is. They say they're going to pay you a platinum piece if you can get their little hamster farm back up and running. And away you go with the coordinates. On arrival, you find that there's this little farmhouse made of marble and wood, but it's this purple wood that intertwines into the marble in places, almost like it's been magically created on this grey rock with patches of pink and green grass in places. There are tunnels everywhere that are ginormous, and you would expect them to be space hamster tunnels, and shreddings of big shrubs and other trees that have been turned into almost sawdust for them to sleep in. One of the first things that's evident is that one of these cats that they talk about are huge. They're medium-sized, regular domestic cat, but big. One of them is spewing across the driveway with part of it missing, a leg gone, a lot of fur missing, and it's a massacre, but half eaten as well. And yeah, I leave it to you. I'm going to set a timer so we're ready for whenever we roll initiative. What would you like to do?
Right. First things first, I wouldn't mind setting some traps.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what kind of traps you'd like to set.
So, a bit of survival pieces. Right, okay. Where's my character sheet? Let's get some. What point of the day did you say it was?
It's probably like midday. It's like, you know, but it's interesting because you're on this asteroid with this like weird, you know, like in Dragon Ball Z when you see like the little small planet that's got like the house on it, and then it's got like the grass that goes all the way around it, and you could walk around it, and then like it's that, but about a mile long, and it's sort of like oblong, and then it's in the sea of like gossamer and pinks and purples and stars everywhere. So there is like daylight, but it's coming more from the environment around rather than a sun.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, where they've got the space hamster farm or whatever it is they've been using.
Yeah, it's like a paddock, and it's got like you can see that like they're not in there currently, and you imagine they're barned up somewhere else on the asteroid.
Has it been like? Does it look like? So obviously, not knowing what this creature is I'm dealing with, does it look like it's been like a large creature that's torn through the bits and pieces, or?
You can give me a nature check, an animal handling check, a survival check, or a medicine check. It is completely your choice.
I'll give you nature because for some reason that's +5.
Nice.
For a 16.
16. Yeah, you've seen them before. They are quite common. These are cockatrice attacks. They are these little monstrosity, weird poultry animals that have these bat-like wings and lizard-like scales all over them, and they're known to infest farmsteads or anywhere that they can get a quick and easy meal. They are quite vicious when you intimidate them or they feel threatened. They go straight on the attack. So for somebody like a little old biddy and their granddaughter who maybe run a hamster farm, actually these things were probably quite aggressive, and they're going to need some muscle. But they're not that big of a creature. They're tiny little, you know, they're small creatures. They are kind of raptorish in nature. They like to feed and kill just on sight, realistically.
Have I got any carcasses left behind or anything like that, or anything I can, or go and get basically as bait?
Yeah, so you've got this half cat that's in front of you, this like large, you know, medium-sized kind of like cat. It's, you know, maybe like 2 or 3 feet long. So there's the half-eaten carcass of that. And you can see that there are other animals around that are alive. So there are other cats around maybe, and you could probably go and find the barn to see if there's like a giant space hamster anywhere.
Can I discern any tracks, recent tracks sort of thing, maybe to be able to find this thing's trail, or at least the direction it comes from?
You can indeed.
What it takes.
If you give me a survival check.
Would be fucking survival, wouldn't it?
Well, if you're tracking something down, absolutely it would be.
So, so confident in this with my -1. I rolled a 3.
Nice.
So I love all this sand out here and stuff, and you know, it's
Well, it's odd, because you look at the ground and you can definitely see the cat paws and the prints, but then there is just so much like dirt and wet kind of ground that's been churned up by these tiny little feet all over the place, and they seem to run everywhere, and it's like following 6 5-year-olds who have done a dot to dot for you, and it's hard to follow.
Dot with finger paint. You know?
Yeah, and it's hard to work out which one is the start of a trail to even begin. So no, I'm afraid that you can't quite tell where they've come from or which way they're going.
I'm going to find an ideal spot. I'm going to take this carcass out. A spot where I can hide somewhere.
Okay.
Basically put the carcass out, and I'll wait for a little while.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably like little fences or like little stone walls made up of other little asteroid bits of rock that they like put together to make like a proper country hedge, maybe. You can hide behind one of those.
Hang on one of them sort of thing, maybe, just so it's you know, I say visible, but smellable.
Yeah, absolutely. You can like rustle the carcass up a little bit to make it a bit more, you know, stinkified, and it's pretty fresh. It's not like properly rotting or anything yet. Are you hiding behind this wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll find wherever I can hide, and I will hide.
Okay, maybe a stealth check.
Not too bad. 19.
Okay, so you adorn the carcass on the wall of this like paddock, and you crack it some more so that like some fresher innards are now on show, and then you lie in wait, and half an hour passes, an hour passes, and then you hear this like this clicking and this like clucking. You peer over the wall and you see these two leathery skinned bird-like creatures with these, they're not quite feathers, but they're like little spikes, like little plumage spikes, come out from underneath the porch of this farmhouse of marble and wood. And you can see them like looking around, and then they begin to like that little like raptor run where they do like a little few hops towards the wall, and they move it almost like one will move while the other one watches, and the other one like it sticks its head up, and then it'll move.
As they sort of start to get closer, I'll reach into my jacket, think about what decks I'm going to use, and then I'll pull out the spades deck from my card deck.
Oh.
Playing with the cards in between my fingers.
Okay. The first one, and its head starts to like really elongate. You see this like hooked beak, like that of a vulture kind of creature, and this little like, you know, like a turkey's bill. I can't remember what it's called underneath that little bit. It's like one of those hanging off the bottom of it. It's like this purplish in colour. They look undead, but they're not, and it's just these really weird, horrific, like dragon-looking bird creatures. And as the first one reaches the creature and begins to start pecking at the cat.
I was going to say, as soon as they're both within range of a 15-foot cone.
Oh, easy.
Yeah?
Yeah, easy.
Basically, then I'll run my thumb across the cards and I'll do my gambit impression as I get up and fling the cards out.
Okay.
And I cast a spray of cards.
That's awesome. Is it your like Mandalorian gambit? Gift Yankee like bring. We are also going to roll initiative. I'm going to give you the surprise round. The timer has begun. We have an hour to paint the mini. So I'm going to grab some colours and we're going to go from there. I'm going to do a heavy amount of dry brushing today because there's a lot of kind of creams, bone colours and then purples on this. So I'm going to be going back to doing layer paints and dry brushing to try and get this done within an hour rather than using any speed paints this week because I'm actually really struggling with the speed paints.
So likewise, I am not using speed paints this week. Especially the main reason, yes, I am likewise also sort of having a bit of an issue with using them. However, the size of the model and the intricate details, all I would be doing would be putting 1 or 2 coats on, and then I would just be having to wait and get it dry.
Exactly that. Not that speed paints aren't good. I want to go back to what I'm used to doing, really. And I'm going to hit this up with a load of bone colours first, and I'm starting with Zandari Dust over a black prime, and I'm using what's essentially a wet dry brush to give a streaky yet thick layer of this pale brown everywhere to begin with. How do you reckon you're going to do this?
So I'm hitting this with some of the deeper purple colours first, so I'm going for a base coat of the Army Painter purple, Warlock purple, and basically building up with some of the pinks, and then I'll be putting down some of the bone colours either with dry brushes or with a couple of highlights.
Oh!
And then going up to some of the bills and doing different sort of coats for the legs. but I just wanted to see how it would go, you know, sort of this way.
Yeah. I find it fun that we're going the opposite ways around on these things. It's always an interesting one to see which way you go and I do. So have a quick look at chat before we move into combat. So, Dibs says, do you mean the wattle? I guess that's what that little neck bit is called. And then he says, speed paints, who makes them? Is it the Army Painter? Army Painter makes speed paints called Army Painter speed paints. They do make the Army Painter speed paints from Army Painter. And yeah, so I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to do just the ground in a standard grey, and that's going to be pretty much the whole model is just working through those colours, and I'll probably use the only contrasts that I'm using is a yellow for certain highlights and a contrast dreadful visage for the sort of like purple sections that are like deep in the wings and stuff. And that's probably about it for me, really. But I guess let's get back to kicking the shit out of these two little birds.
Okay, so for my surprise round, if they could both make dexterity saving throws, whether you wish to impose disadvantage is completely up to you for the surprise.
You know what, I will. What was your initiative, by the way?
Oh, sorry, initiative is 16.
16, yeah, you're going first. So, let's impose disadvantage on that. Wow! First one is a 3 and a 4. The second one is a 13 and a 15. So that's going to be with a dex. They have no saving throw proficiencies, so it's quite literally... Did you say dex, yeah?
Yeah.
With a +1, that is going to be a 14 and a 4.
Okay, so one passes, one fails.
Yep.
They do, however, take 17 points of damage, or 8 points of damage for the other one.
Fucking hell. Wow. So, let's go. 17 on the first one. Damn. And 8 on the second one. So, and how does it look as you, like, spray the cards out?
So, I will read the official description. So you spray a 15-foot cone of spectral cards, but I like the idea of having cards on me.
Yep.
Each generator must fix it through. So they take 17 force damage, and they are now blinded until the end of its next turn. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage only.
Is it still blinded?
One's blinded, one isn't.
Yeah, okay.
And basically, as I sort of get up, flicking my thumb through the cards, the diamond symbol sort of appears to charge with arcanic magic and nature. As I fling them out, the whole cards glow and erupt out as though little magic missiles.
Nice. I like that a lot. And as you do so, the what colour's the energy?
It's like a yellow gold energy.
Okay, so this energy across with these cards as they spray, and you just say it's like as the first one, like whatever plumes they have that aren't quite feathers, just light feathers from it, and you just see it starts running around in a circle in place, while the other one seems to like come up just as it's avoiding, almost like its head rearing up, and then sees where you are and just gives out this like horrible as it then looks like it's going to come in for the attack. But we're going to start the initiative off with yourself. One of them is running around in a tiny little circle, which is the one that was probably eating. The other one is about 5 foot back and is, yeah, it can see you.
Okay, the one that can see me is the issue. More importantly, do I know these things can petrify?
Give me an... Ooh, I would say that this is probably an Arcana check. Being a monstrosity.
13.
Yeah. DC 10, I'm going to make that because it's your profession. Yes, you would know that if they hit you with a bite, they could potentially petrify you.
Hit me with a bite, right, okay.
And I'm just dry brushing on some Upshanty bone at the moment just to get those bone colours in there.
Right, snap me crossbow straight out and plug it.
Straight into the first one? Or the one that can see?
One that can see.
Okay, make the shot.
I've got one round I can get a shot off and then it'll be close quarters. Natural 20.
Oh, shit! Okay, let's go. So it's max damage, plus your modifiers, and then roll again.
It is 19 damage.
19 damage.
19 damage.
So 19.
Do I plus modifiers to the second roll?
No.
16 damage.
16 damage. So it had taken 8 before, plus 16, so that's going to be 24 total? Yes. You launch this kind of like crossbow bolt, and it goes and hits into like the clavicle of this weird demonic looking chicken, and it limps as its eyes just stare at you, the other one just going mad. But it looks bad, but it's not dead. And Dibs has said, I've just sent you and Beardy the Insta post of the Cockatrice I did. I will have a look at that afterwards.
Okay, that is, I've got no bonus actions, so that's me done.
Okay.
And actually, where I'm on the wall side,
yeah,
am I able to move? They can fucking fly, can't they?
They can fly, yeah.
Yeah, it's pointless. That's right. Okay. Let it come.
Okay, so at the start of the next round, the one that's blind is going first. It is just on the other side of this carcass foe, so I'm going to give it a perception check with disadvantage. Ooh. Okay, that disadvantage has helped you out. Okay. It's not going to see you, so it's just going to like lash out as it can't see anything.
It's on the other side of the wall from me, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's not attacking you at all. It's just lashing out like as if something was close by, but it can't do anything. Can you roll me a D8, please?
So is its mate close enough to be hit?
That's why I'm asking for a D8.
Right, let's go for the 8. So we are a 6.
So it lashes out, but it's like just next to its mate. It's not quite on it, or luckily not near you either. But that's all it can do. The other one, however, these like bat-like wings unfurl from either side. It flies up into the air and just dive bombs down towards you with an attack. It's only an 8 to hit as it lands on top of the wall and its head swipes down.
That is a miss.
That is all it can do. It is your go, my friend. Big Z.
Right, okay. Suddenly a sickle appears in my hand as I summon my packed weapon.
Oh!
Sorry, I should say sickles, because they are dual.
Oh, that's cool. Very like...
Yeah. Okay, so we are a 21 and a 14 to hit.
Yeah. I mean, they've got an armor class of 11, so they're both going to hit.
Oh, it takes 10 points of damage.
You slice its head clean off. You just like where this like bolt is sticking out of its neck and it looks pretty hurt. You then just like, as it comes in for the attack, as its head is rearing back up to come in again, you take one of the sickles and you just slice through. And it doesn't quite die straight away because the head lands on the ground and then it just begins to flap and run. And can you give me another D8, please?
The other one, by the way, was able to make a saving throw at the end of its turn to maintain.
Oh, it passes with a 19.
Yeah. It's an 8 on the roll.
An 8 on the roll. So it just starts running past you to the left. Well, to your right, its left. And flapping, it takes off and then just crumples to the ground dead.
Jesus Christ.
The next one, however, if that's the end of your go,
yeah.
You watch as like its eyes, these like beady black eyes come into focus almost, and you see them like lock onto you, and it gives this like as it just then jumps up onto the wall, and it too is going to try and make the bite attack against you. That is a 16 plus 3 for a 19.
Hits.
Okay. So it's going to do a total of 4 points of piercing damage. And I need that Constitution saving throw, please.
That I'm actually pretty damn good at. So that is a 16.
16. Yeah, you feel like the peck and the bite, this petrification begins to try and take over, but you close your eyes, you steel your body, and you just, like, pure force of will push through it. And yeah, it's now just there ahead of you, and it's just like squawking in your face.
Alright, okay, fuck you then. I take out the heart's deck and I fling cards in its face. So, dexterity saving throw.
Ooh. 8 plus 1 for a 9.
Okay, it is blinded again. And it takes 17 points of damage.
17, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you want to do this?
Oh, so it drop?
Yeah, it had already taken 10 points of damage. No, sorry, 17 points of damage, because it was the one that failed its save.
As I fling the cards out, the first two sort of impact into its chest, as the next one just takes it straight in the face.
Yeah, and it just, same thing. These, like, cards sticking out of it, it just begins to, like, I mean, give me a D8 and we'll see which direction it runs.
D8 rolling. 5.
It basically just turns tail, runs, falls off the wall, and then crumples to the ground, and they're dead. You have, although not a pest to you, a pest to people who maybe aren't trained to fight or know what these things are, but you have beaten the 2 Cockatrices back. You search the rest of the farm.
Yeah.
You find all of the space hamsters safely tucked up in the barn. You probably find like small little burrow holes where they're trying to get in but haven't got in so far. The rest of the cats now start to come out of the houses and out of all the other little hidey holes, now safe. And yeah, you can return back to the Black Hole Enforcer, the bar, and you can let them know that their homestead is safe. And they're like, hey, thank you very much. And they give you like a platinum piece. And like, if you ever need to ride a space hamster, then you can always come by and get one from us free of charge. And yeah, you have beaten.
Thank them for their kindness, and I go looking for the next job.
There you go. Not even 15 minutes.
Hey.
14 and a half, and you beat 2 of them on your own. And yeah, for me, that saving throw against the petrification, that is what matters in this fight.
Oh, gotcha. At the end of the day, if that had gone the other way, that's it then. You know, fight's done.
Exactly. And I'm glad that you beat them and you didn't die on that one, because I'd have felt really bad if you died against what is essentially a CR of 1.
I would have really been gutted if I died on that.
We're pretty like pecked to death by 2 little turkeys.
Yeah, and effectively eaten by a fucking chicken.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they are. But they make for great little dungeon fodder, and they are awesome little minions, but unless that Constitution saving throw goes through, or fails even, you should be alright against them. Yeah. I think I've only had them in as little tiny things here and there in any campaigns that I've run, but I don't often find the chance or space to use them realistically.
No, they are one that it's got to be low level. Well, 9 times out of 10, got to be low level, out in the sticks, sort of situational, bit of fun, bit of interesting sort of go at them. It would be quite sort of fascinating them to see. Quite fascinating to see them at a not like a high level point, but basically utilised well enough to screw up a group. So if you've got like a big creature fight, you throw a few of them in just to bite and paralyse and petrify.
Yeah.
You know, they're not actually there as a threat, they are literally there to do one thing.
Well, I think the other side of that is actually like, if you're going to throw them in as just like fodder, like I said earlier, and yeah, they're just there to kind of like disrupt. I think that that's definitely the way to use them, because if you can get those petrifies in, your cleric then has to go revivify, or not revivify, lesser restoration, or they have to go spend resources which they might need later on in the dungeon.
Yeah.
So I'm very much, definitely keen on them for that reason. So what's happening in chat? Jim Worth says, I've always disliked speed paints, but they leave things too streaky. But I did see Richard's Cambion he painted for this series, and he used speed paints for that, right? Yep. It looked great. No streaks. So yeah, Richard, I think you've absolutely smashed it. The things that you've done so far have been amazing with the speed paints, but it's just hard when they start running into each other.
And also the thing to bear in mind, 9 times out of 10 with the things I do with speed paint, I say spray and pray. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, so it's more a case of I go for a bit of a mix, try this, I hope for the best, and a couple of them I was quite, the theme of the candle was beautiful. That worked out great.
Yeah.
A couple of them have not.
I agree. I think that as I add this dreadful visage to the wings here, because of the drying times and us having to rush to try and get a mini done within an hour on this show, speed paints are great if you put a layer on, walk away, come back, put another layer on when it's dry, and go from there. And you do have to thin them down still if you don't want them to be streaky. Or if you use them through an airbrush, I think they're a lot better.
Or if you're painting 10 models at once, you're great, because you just, by the time you got to the 10th, you go back to the first, and it's, you stand a chance of it being dry.
Yeah, I completely agree there. So if you're going for like mass orcs or mass armies or whatever, absolutely the best way to do it. I will say actually, when it comes to painting up an army, obviously I've been like diving back into like trying to get my Legion all painted up recently, and all of my Mandos that I've been doing, that's all been layer painting. I've not used speed paint or anything on those, and I forgot how much I missed painting small squads of things properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, really enjoying that. But actually, this dreadful visage is not a paint I get to use very often, and it's going on really quite subtle at the moment, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out. So have you been to the Astral Sea before in a game?
No, because my playtime has been restricted over the years, because where I have been most of the time the forever DM, the world obviously I DM in is of my complete own creation. So I haven't had time to do to play in certain places like that, or to utilise them, because I do my own thing. I have my own cosmere, my own world and worlds.
Yeah.
And worlds in between, sort of thing. So it's something I wouldn't mind doing, because obviously playing Baldur's Gate, seeing some of the bits and pieces in there, it has made me somewhat curious.
Yeah, and I've been waiting for Spelljammer for so long, and I've got the collection of Spelljammer stuff. Still haven't played it, but it's very Treasure Planet, which is awesome.
That's quite cool, then.
Yeah, it's a really cool setting, and like as a sci-fi lover, mixing the two high fantasy and sci-fi together, I really like. So let's have a quick look. Dibs is asking people what they're up to. Yeah, what are people up to at home? Are you painting today? Are you working? Jim, Worth Painting is working from home. Tibbs only 10 at once. Yeah. People just chatting away.
Tell you what, I'm looking forward to seeing what Jim does with that dragon he's got.
Yeah. Tim says Treasure Planet is the movie that Disney should do as a live action. Yeah. They really should. That'd be fucking awesome. Really hard to get all of those different creatures in there though. Right, so far, it's quite subtle, but that is the Dreadful Visage over the bone colours. I'm then going to try and just start working on the base and getting those stone colours worked in while that dries. Because it's going to take a little bit of time. How's yours going?
So I've got the purple down pretty well, and I'm now going over sort of trying to hit this camera, trying to sort of.
Oh, nice.
So now going through, just doing a few highlights and trying to. It's going to look a mess until it doesn't. Hopefully, well, at least hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, that's usually the way it goes, really, to be honest, isn't it, Bo? Right, so I'm going to try and get some light grey going on. So, let's grab. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking, when I work through things like stonework and stuff, I'll start with a base of something dark like a primer of black. Then I'll use, the main colour I'm using for this one is Mechanica Standard Grey from Citadel. I will add black to that for the first layer of paint, the base layer, and then I will go to the standard paint on its own as a dry brush, then I'll add some white to it, and I'll work my way through blacks and whites, doing almost like a single Pantone, is it? Of colour to try and keep it all within the same sort of tones for things like bases and rocks and stuff like that. At least that's my technique. Right. I'll probably finish it off with a bit of off-white at the end.
I'm also going for a bit of Berserker Bloodshade wash on some of the sort of smaller areas, especially under the chin bits and pieces.
Nice. Oh, Zizzy 23. I haven't seen that movie in years. Thanks for the reminder. Absolute pleasure. I think my wife actually stuck it on the other day, and I was like, I've seen the film in different orders, because I keep coming into it when the family is watching it, either at the end, in the middle, or at the start. So I know it, but I've never actually watched it the entire way through in one hit. So, hey, look what I'm mixing with. I got the spinner from Green Stuff World. Noisier than I thought it was going to be.
Is it effective though?
Yes, so far. Hopefully I'm going to be showing off some more Green Stuff World paint soon enough, because I got a load of stuff from Green Stuff World that I bought recently for my birthday, and yeah, I'm looking forward to testing out some of the colour shifters, especially on Airheads, which I believe is premiering on the of January. Why do I keep forgetting the date, Richard?
Because I do as well. Have you got Dragon Skull in the chat?
Dibs, are you sure that's not Yaz's? Dibs, are you sure it's not mine? Craig, if you're there, I keep forgetting the damn date. It's on the calendar. I know it's on the calendar. I want to say it's like the 18th or the 25th. Or the 19th. Or the 26th. 26th, Airheads! Friday the 26th.
It's not the 19th, I know that.
Yeah, no, I know that, because you're with Band of Badgers that night, aren't you?
Yeah.
And what are you doing with Band of Badgers on that night?
On that night, we are starting our Pathfinder campaign of, I will find the name of it. I'll just spread my water. So, because I don't want to get the name wrong, it is the Abomination Bolts.
Oh, I can't wait.
I really can't wait. It's going to be a right giggle.
So I've been listening to a lot of the Glass Cannon Network, because they're running through a Pathfinder 2e adventure path. And I strongly advise you listen to it, Richard, because it will help you with the rules and stuff, because it is different to D&D.
Well, that's my only panic at the moment. I'm trying to sort of read up, but it is, again, it's like those wonderful time things, you know, trying to get everything sort of nailed down and learned beforehand, but...
You won't, it's fine. It's 3 action economy is all you need to remember. So it's essentially, you get 3 action points, you spend them as you do, and certain things will cost you 2 action points, certain things will cost you 1 action point, other things may cost you 3. Other than that, it is a subsidiary of D&D, but thanks to the OGL issue last year, they're making their own system from it.
That's good.
Which is what 2E is, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. But I would suggest going and listening to the Glass Cannon podcast, which is also available on YouTube and as a video. Maybe put a comment in, tell them I sent you. Get them to check out the Starfinder show, because Troy LaValle's so fucking funny. He's probably now one of my favourite GMs ever.
Yeah?
Yeah, seriously funny dude. You'd love it.
Feel my water in my bloody wet.
Oh no!
And now all the paints are mixing.
But yeah, Richard is going to be... what I'm looking forward to is it's not me. I love playing with badgers, and I love being on the shows and being a character, but I want to see other people. So I'm really excited to see, like, yourself and Ross when it comes around to him doing things.
Dave's playing this time around as well. He's not GMing.
Yeah, Steve's GMing because it's Pathfinder.
Sorry, DMing I should say, because I will never be comfortable with calling it GMing.
Really?
I've never been able to. It's always been DM.
Ah, see, I prefer GM. But I think that's because I'm a Starfinder boy.
Second edition, so you know it's ingrained.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And I think because I'm such a Starfinder boy, I'm like GM.
GM all the way.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. So I'm actually taking some Alien Purple from the Army Painter layer paint range, and I am going to be layering that up into the base of things like the wings.
How long have we got?
We still got like 30 minutes. Plenty of time. Which end Div says paint check time. So I'm getting that stonework in on there, trying to get those purples in now before I start adding things like a few yellows and some blacks to things like the claws. And I'm especially doing it while the contrast paint is still wet, so that I can wet blend it, but without it running everywhere. So I'm adding layer into the contrast. Let's see if I've missed anything in chat. So, Fluffy says airhead to the 26th. Thank you, Fluffy. Fluffy says, at Dibs, a couple can share? Oh, okay, we're on about the vibrator thing.
Yeah, that was from earlier.
Yeah, no, that is. It took me a while. Then we've got... I'm not going to read out that conversation. And yeah, we're on paint check time, so...
Are we keeping it civil, please, people?
It's civil enough. It's cheeky with a little bit of nuance, you know?
Well, so long as people remember to respect each other's boundaries.
No, I think it's just Fluffy and Dibs. So, I want some black, because I want to get those claws in. And I'm going to go back to Old Faithful acrylic ink for this, because I like how dark it is. Although, Richard, one of the 2 paints from Green Stuff World I tried out yesterday,
yeah.
One of them was the Darth Black.
Ooh, oh yeah.
Which is their blacker than black paint. And they call it the blackest paint you can get in acrylic format.
How was it?
It was pretty good. It was very black. And I liked it a lot. The metallics, just having a look at them, I strongly advise you getting them. I think you would love them.
Can you link me the set you bought?
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely will do.
I'll have a look at those.
So I'm trying to find those like little clawed bit of the wings, anything that is talons on the chicken feet. Trying to see if there's any more. Yeah, there's some just there on the underside on this mini. And then, while I wait for that to dry, I will find the next bit of this mini to do. Because we've got that lovely beak there, and then the top of those... And the top of those plumes, which I want to hit with the yellow. So, Dibs, Fluffy, next time you're at the Minac, can you come and fetch me and take me with you? Yeah. Dibs, read out Richard's birthday. Is it your birthday?
Not yet, no.
When is it your birthday?
Next month.
Okay, good. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I haven't missed it. I'm going to get out my vibrator again. I'm going to mix up some contrast. I tell you what, though, I'm going to do a little test on this with this little Green Stuff World spinner. You know Tesseract Glow?
Yeah.
You know how much that separates? I'm going to test out, because have you ever tried to get the gunk off the bottom of one of those?
No.
Cement.
Yeah.
Flippy says it's on our calendar already.
Really?
Yeah, she's amazing for stuff like that, and I'm a piece of shit, so...
Yeah, I'd say I'm a piece of shit, so...
But my birthday's just been, so...
I can't even remember my own birthday as it is.
I usually don't announce mine.
I don't like usually announcing mine either.
But this year I was like, fuck it, and I did, and it was actually alright.
No, I've not had a great track run with birthdays. I was younger, so I tend to like them.
Oh man, we're like kindred spirits. I usually find that because mine's in the Christmas holidays, it gets forgotten about. And that's fine, people are busy and I don't expect anything, and Yaz always does such an amazing time like trying to make sure that it's celebrated and stuff, and it's only recently that I've been like, okay, let's do it, and yeah. Alright, so I'm going to take the iodine yellow and I'm adding that to the beak.
I'm trying to build up to a nice yellow. Sun yellow mixed with something.
But I want to get something dark and reddish inside that beacon for the wattle, as I learnt that that's what it's called.
Or wattle.
Wattle! And use the very top of those tips.
Gonna go for my typical flesh tearers red for in the mouth.
I'm not going to lie, I bought up a handful of paints for this and that was it. The rest of the paints are actually in the house, because I've been busy doing stuff off stream, and also I've been really tired recently, so I'm like just doing it as and when I can. So hopefully the yellow should start to show up. There you go. So that's the iodine on the beak, and that's probably the brightest that we will go to on this mini. Now, I'm going to grab one of my inks. I've got this really cool purple, which I'm going to use. And legend has it, the more birthdays you have, the longer you live. That's from Dibs, who said before, I was going to say I'm too old for birthdays, but now I've already had 4 that I didn't expect to, so I'm advertising yours to make you aware of how important they are. Yeah, actually, Dibs has got a valid point there. Yeah, do something with that information, Richard.
I would, but I'm not allowed to give a finger on stream.
Are you not?
I'm trying to be polite and all, you know.
I literally, I think, started off this week's Starfinder show doing that to people.
Yeah.
I think I literally said, oh yeah, you've got a GCSE in science, have you? And then gave them the middle fingers, or the double fingers.
GCSEs, have you?
Yeah. Right, let's grab that purple. There we go, that's a nice vibrant purple. So this is the Daily Rowney purple ink that I'm now putting on for the hottle and the inside of the mouth.
Time check, Vicar.
23 minutes. All the time in the world, buddy. Actually think I'm going to be done relatively soon, you know.
I'm just waiting for mine to dry so I can do some more dry brushing. And I might actually be a bit lazy and give this a wash.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Have a bit of a play with the some of the areas.
See, that's actually sort of what I'm doing now with this ink, is I'm putting on heavy at the base of the wings, and then I'm using my finger to smudge it upwards.
Yeah.
Just because why not, you know? I'm getting a slightly deeper purple towards the tips of those wings there. It's crazy, but I only put on a thin layer of the original contrast, and that is still drying. Right. And there is a bit on the head. Don't think I need it anywhere else. So do you think the Cockatrice is a kind of mini then that you could, especially this one from Loot, throw into different situations? Do you think you could reskin it as something else?
Oh yeah, you can do all sorts of bits and pieces with it. It'd be one of those things that it would be quite a fun thing just to put into some really horrible sort of places. There is a lot you could do with it.
Yeah. It's a weird mix of so many different creatures. There's like scales, the bat wings, and then the bird bits. It's really quite monstrositous. Dib says, is anyone else entering that competition you set me up for? Yeah, I'm going to begin painting mine, my mini for that one today. That's the Fiend Slayer competition where you can win a 3D printer. So I'm going to be taking part in that. But now that my green stuff all paints have turned up, I can begin planning what I'm going to do.
It all depends on timings for me, because I'm trying to, I've started back up working again this week and trying to hit the ground running with bits and pieces and get some of my projects up and going.
Yeah.
Because one thing I also need to celebrate this week is I have made I'm now over 1,000 sales on Etsy.
Hey, congratulations.
It's quite a nice little milestone.
The Milky Bars are on you.
That's it.
Nice.
So yeah, trying to get a few things going, things listed, things, bits and pieces. I will be most likely holding a giveaway soon.
Ooh.
Just to celebrate such milestones, because, you know, I like to do that sort of thing.
Okay, that's really awesome. That is very, very cool. We will make sure we promote the shit out of that.
Hey.
Because you always do with our ones. So we'll sort something out and we'll chat off stream. And then we'll go from there. I think we're still a bit of a way away from the next Dragonborn Industries giveaway. I know there's going to be one on the Starfinder stream at some point. And then the big Diggy Hole Dice, that's going to go when we hit 1,000 YouTube subscribers.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Apart from that...
And that will be one I'm trying to win.
Yeah, you crack on. You absolutely crack on. So, adding some highlights to that. I need to get those eyes done. Hey, Absalom's back. Absalom Dak, how the devil are you? Welcome back. Dibs, I'm thinking the one you sent me is similar scheme to the Crypt Dragon that Richard gave me, and both so I'm thinking of using that plan, plus it'll be a good test for the bigger one. Nice. The one I'm doing is actually kind of small and I've downscaled it.
Crazy fool.
Yeah. What am I doing? Let's have a look at the eyes on this creature. See, they're black beady eyes, so I'm going to have to put in some black. And then I've got that all sorted there. There's really nice eye cavities on this Mini, actually, Richard. They're really quite deep.
You say that. Doesn't help when you fill them or something.
Oh, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm filling them with black, and then I'm going to put a tiny little white dot in there.
Well, as I say, it almost looks like I might be inclined to do.
Okay.
I need to get some new detail brushes.
Yaz got me some from a actual artist website, and they were like £25 a set, but actually, which is relatively cheap when you consider that they came in a set of 5.
Yeah.
But they are fucking awesome. They're like proper fine detail brushes, and the 0.5 is like the Psycho from the Army Painter. Really, really cool set of brushes. And they've got like those nice little handles on there as well. I will get her to send you the link, because
Yes, please.
yeah, really, really awesome. So this is how mine's going so far. They've got those like really dried out bone colours.
I quite like the almost. It does almost look undead for you. Sort of feel on that one.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going for, realistically, because I think they do in the monster manual. They look like undeads, and unless you read the actual description and you know their stat block, it isn't. But I thought it was off first look, so that's kind of what I'm going for there.
I like that. Looks good.
Yeah, I need the wings to dry a bit more so I can add another layer of dry brushing in. So I'm hoping in the next 16 minutes that ink will have dried, and I can then put in what will be Terminatus Stone as my final dry brush. I really want to hit this with an airbrush, but I don't think I have time to set that up and put a sepia wash into it. But I would, if I was going for a proper paint job, hit that from underneath with a very transparent sepia, and that would give us the transparency and the shadows that we want on this creature. Jim Withing, need to get yourself a hobby hairdryer just to keep the desk, just to keep it at the desk, got those paints to dry. Yeah, yeah, exactly that. The other side of it is I could actually use the airbrush for that. I keep forgetting it's actually over on this side of the room at the moment because I've been testing it out, getting ready for Airheads on the 26th of this month over on Dragon School Studios channel. Please go give them a follow because we're going to be there doing our thing and working out how the hell we're supposed to airbrush stuff. And I'm working on a giant fucking T-Rex, which I'm very excited about. That was a lovely little gift from Richard and Craig. So I'm very excited about it. Yeah, to which end, by the way, I have it primed and ready to go, and oh boy am I going to be using the Green Stuff World on it.
The colour shifters.
No, the fluorescence. Yeah. I want a... Oh, I might do it, you know, Richard. We've got 14 minutes. For the first time on Painting Up the Monster Manual, I may actually use an airbrush.
You're going to airbrush on me?
Am I? And I know this is a show about being able to paint really quickly without the use of other tools. But I need this to dry, so I'm getting it out anyway. Does that count?
No.
Oh no! Am I disqualified from the episode if I do?
More probably lynched and, you know, quartered for blasphemy.
Yeah, fair enough. But, I mean, for those of you out there who are thinking about getting into airbrushing, this cost me like, I think with the compressor it was about 70 quid on Amazon, and then I got a second one, which is just the airbrush, for my birthday for like 20 quid. So I can do one at 0.5 for priming and shading, and the other one for fine detail. And and then I'm going to learn how to use them properly at the end of the month. And then we're going to sit around and not have a clue what we're doing together.
And enjoy every second of it.
But what I am doing is I'm actually going to turn these other two mics off. It's going to be really loud otherwise. I am just using air through the air compressor and through the airbrush just to try and dry the Mini, which is a trick that Richard taught me.
Mine's over the other side of the room because I was bloody priming beforehand.
So Jim Worthing says, I've wanted one for a while, but I know I wouldn't maintain it. Just be a waste of money for me. So I thought the same thing, and actually maintaining it is really easy. One trick I learned for cleaning, dunk it in water and just power through until it's completely clear, and then just take it apart afterwards, let it dry. Get some sewing machine needle oil, which is dirt cheap, or if you've got a wife that sews, she's already got it. Done. Probably don't put alcohol ink through it like I do, because it gunks up like crazy. And that's
You can also store it in distilled water.
Yeah. I've got a whole bottle of distilled water that I haven't actually used for ages, to be honest, so I might get that out.
Alright, you're a sword. You're cheating as well.
Yeah! Well, I'm not cheating, I'm just drying it. Just drying it. For now. This is going to become an airbrushing show, isn't it? For those of you who haven't seen Richard using an airbrush, go check out some of the Badgers streams for epic brush off and stuff. Fuck me, like his manticore was insane. And yes, that's on like youtube.com/bandofbadgers. I think the last epic brush off was just before Christmas, and we were both on it. And Richard did the manticore, and it was just nuts. But I'm still just drying this one off. But actually, you can see already that that is starting to dry really quickly with the airbrush. I need to get some whiting on the eyes just to give it that glow and reflection, and I need to get the off-white on the base, which we're going to dry brush in now, actually. So I'm going to get a fresh bit of tissue because it is an off-white, but also I want it to be dry rather than just somewhat dry. And I need a relatively thin, this is a makeup brush from Poundland, or Primark is another good place to get them from, and I'm using the thinnest end of that. I'm going to take Terminator Stone, and I'm going to take the majority of this off. This is going on the tops of the wings, and then we'll get that base done with the Praxetti White. Okay. I think we've lost Richard forever. He's gone. So that one is off there. We're going to take another really thin dry brush, and we're going to do the Praxetti White on the base. Still got 9 minutes. And this is, I'm just trying to skim the tops of some of those rocks. I'm avoiding the feet. I want the edges of that ring. Haha. Because that's where the most light would hit. And sometimes that's all it needs. I'm then going to put a black rim around the base. So that we've got definition between the stone and whatever is on the table. So far, should be nice and dry, nice and dusty. Let's grab. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put some sepia into the airbrush. I'm going to shade it. going to take about, hopefully, 30 seconds to do it.
I think my paints have decided to identify as oils instead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really not right.
Are you not getting your airbrush?
It's set up over the other side of the room, so I've just been spraying it basically over there.
Oh!
Trying to dry it off.
I thought you were bringing it over.
No. All I'm wanting to do is dry.
I'm doing it.
You're not airbrushing, are you?
Kind of.
Cheeky bastard.
So, what I'm going to do is, if you can see this coming out of the airbrush from here, this is just a sepia ink, and this is all it is. We're kissing it.
Giving it a wee little bit of a kiss.
And that's that. And all that's going to do is just put a bit of darkness back underneath, a bit of shadow. And that's about all I do for airbrush shading. Just like that. And then I'm going to try and dry it off again. And I'm pretty much there, apart from rimming, haha, the base.
How long we got?
We've got 6 minutes 55. So. Perfect. Just need to grab another bit of tissue and dry it out.
You know what? I think we're going to be screwed over by bloody drying again.
It's kind of why I just got the airbrush out to dry it off. I did a Richard. I did something useful. Rather than me just panic painting. And now I'm quite literally just drying it off again. Just to make sure I can then touch the Mini to do that rim around the base. Right. So what bit are you working on at the moment?
I was putting me bloody me base layers and some of the highlights on, and then basically I was going to go over a lot of it with doing up in a couple of the dry brushes to sort of blend it. And it's just not. It's too wet, so I'm losing some of the texture.
Oh no, that's usually me. Right. So I'm taking it out of the Mini holder for now, because I'm going to go around that base. But we've got the blends in that we want for now. I would, like I say every week, like to spend longer on this Mini and do it in a different style. I would like to do it more cartoony, but for an hour, to say that you can do it, a Mini tabletop ready in an hour, I think for me this one's definitely a doable.
Yeah, luckily, I mean, where I'm at, I could put it on a table.
Yeah?
Especially once it's dried.
That's what this show is all about, is being tabletop ready. Not Squidmar tabletop ready. Oh, no. But
How long we got for time?
you've got 4 minutes 30. There we go. So that's the rim on the base done. There you go, bud.
Oh, beautiful.
I still need to get a dot in the eye, but
What?
a little bit of white.
I got that one bloody eyes.
Right. I'm going to use my lovely new brush.
Go on.
3.5.
Rim the base.
Yeah.
No one oil the stone, is it?
I'm not oiling the stone. I'm just rimming the base, and I'm leaving it to my standard dry brushing. I'm done.
Hey.
I think it's been a while since I've actually been done before the buzzer. Yeah, and then Jim, in terms of cleaning the airbrush, I mean, I ran airbrush thinner through it. I'm just going to take it apart now and let it dry. I will wipe off the needle. And then I will take off the nozzle and let that dry. It's pretty much all I'll do because I didn't do much with it today.
Probably something I should do, but I never end up taking it apart.
Yeah. That is quite... I'm going to leave that there on my dry bit of tissue to dry. That's it. That's all the maintenance that you need to do with it. Take it apart. Don't let it rust. Sometimes oil it. Don't leave paint in it. At least that's how I treat mine. Whoo! You've got 1 minute 50. How you doing?
Base is nearly done. Edging is blunt. I'm just literally throwing out some non-oil, so it almost looks like it's, you know, it's ready for shit.
Nice. Jim says he'll put it back on the consideration list. Do it. Just get a cheap one and just see how it goes. I wonder if I can use some of this neon pink on the tongue.
Right. But then, I'll do my dry brushing later, but I'm done.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I'm going to quickly just say I'm not done. So a little pink highlight on that tongue. There we go. So, with a minute left, I'm stopping the timer.
Oh, no. It's alright. I'm figuring I may as well do something. I've got a minute left.
Okay. He's back in the room.
I've got to let it dry anyway, so I may as well throw some shade on it. Got to dry before pictures anyway.
Cool. I am, putting it down again and saying I'm done again. So yeah, I guess for those of you out there, I mean, have you guys used cockatrices in your campaigns? Do you find that you like them? Do you dislike them? You know, I probably should have asked that a lot earlier on rather than with a minute left to go. But
it would have been possibly handy. But...
yeah, but if not, put it in the comments down below. go comment on YouTube. All help is wanted. Yeah, I like them, but again, they're few and far between for usage. And if you are ready, Richard, time is up.
Time is up, then yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So again, with time for that to dry, have gone mostly with those dry brushes. A few contrasts and then drying them off with that airbrush. But actually, I wanted to keep this to a mostly dry brush miniature. There are a few highlights and a few blends on there, but I wanted to keep that undead kind of look. Which I think I've achieved. The dark shading underneath is really subtle from the airbrush. So that's all I wanted to use it for. So that's mine. How did yours go, Richard? Oh, I like that flash colour.
So I went for the more sort of flesh-coloured. God's sakes.
There you go. Wow, look at that! It's like a chicken that's been plucked.
Once some of the bits of the wash dry, I will dry brush it anyway, but I could throw that on the table with it how it's drying now, so...
That's awesome. Yeah, I really like the flesh colours, and actually, I wouldn't mind doing one that way around as well. I think that's very, very cool. So, I'm sure there were some in modules I've run, but I don't remember using one. Jim says, gotta shoot, lads. See you next week. Well done. Thank you so much, Jim. We'll see you next week. Absalom says they look amazing as usual. Well, thank you very much, Absalom. That's very kind of you. Guys, that's the Cockatrice done. I actually can't remember what the next mini is. I think it's the Coatl, which is a Celestial.
That should be fun.
Yeah, they're like snakes with wings.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think they're literally like feathered snakes with wings that are like blues to yellows or something like that. I can't quite remember. I'll have to have a look at the monster manual for them. But that's what we'll be back on.
They're from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Beastie.
They look like that, yes. Because their one's blue in that, isn't it? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Dip says they're shit. Hot. Alfred says they're a bit Aztec. Yeah, the Coatls are very Aztec. And Jim Wade says, make sure to use the AG one, Rich.
Yeah, as I say, I was just thinking that. That's what I was thinking about.
Awesome. I actually don't know if... I'm pretty sure WizKids do one, so I might be doing that, but I don't know if I can source one. So I'll have to talk to Richard and see what I can find first. But I'll chat to you about that off stream. Guys, thank you so much. We'll be back for episode 28 next week, which is the Coatl. And thank you so much for taking part in Twitch, Kick, and YouTube chats. And if you're on YouTube watching this in the future, I hope that you've learned something about the Cockatrice today. And hopefully you're checking out Warrior Prince 3D. And remember, may the dice gods be ever in your favor. Take it easy, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Bye now.